Alright, all set. And 3, 2, 1, action! This is Cinematic Motif. Hello, I'm Wanson, a film critic and a content creator, and welcome back to Cinematic Motif, where I introduce you one Taiwanese film as a motif and then explore other works of similar topic in cinema around the world. Alright, so welcome to the show today. We are approaching December. The weather is getting colder and colder recently, right? I assume that you are not thinking about snow here in Taiwan, because it is very difficult for us in Taiwan to see the snow in winter. Perhaps sometimes very high in the mountain we would probably see some snow. Hopefully we're gonna see that this year. I personally am thinking about that, hopefully. Anyway, so on our show today, we're going to talk about snow, this motif and theme of snow on the show today. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very appropriate for our weather and our time for the year. So let's get started. Alright, so today we're going to start with the film that is slightly depressing. We're going to talk about this film called 五月雪, Snow in Midsummer. So this film is actually a co-production between Taiwan and Malaysia. I know the producer in Taiwan though. I know him. He's also the producer of many Taiwanese films, including, The Monk and the Gun. So let's talk about this film. So Snow in Midsummer, 五月雪, it was released last year, and it was nominated for a lot of awards at the Golden Horse Awards last year. It explores a moment in history, a moment of intense struggle and political turmoil. It's from Malaysia director Zhang Ji and Chong Kit-an. This film tells the story of the May 13 incident in Malaysia. It's a bloody crackdown following a popular uprising. But intriguingly, the violence of the event itself is never explicit. I think it's not explicitly shown on the screen. You can see the blood, you can see the images, you can see the indication that there is this sort of violence from government in the film, but you are not seeing that particularly on screen, but you can hear it. So it's basically a forbidden history in Malaysia. So Chong Ki-an, the director Chong, he crafts a subtle narrative. It's filled with red imagery. There's the sacred blood of the deity, and also the big fire of the theater that burned down during the May 13 incident. There's also this red image, and also we can see a lot of blood beneath a man beaten by the government near to death. Red dominates the whole screen, both elusively and also profoundly. These images that does not directly, talks about violence, but you can feel it, you can see. It's a very restrained approach to this topic of history from Malaysia. And I would say Zhang Ji and Chong's restraints extends beyond the visual. His use of camera is equally meticulous. This film filled with long and wide shots creates a sense of distance, as if we are standing a little bit away from the human being to see this event going on. And in my interpretation, I would say it is the deity in this movie, because this movie really cherishes deity of Malaysia in the movie. So I think we as audience, we are watching this whole event happen like the deity. But all in all, I would say the true brilliance of Snow in Midsummer is how it weaves together the fractured history of the Chinese diaspora in Malaysia. So, as you may all know, there are many Chinese people in Malaysia right now, but it's just, they moved there. They moved there, and the Malaysian government does not, for all the time, they don't really like Chinese people that much, because to them, they are foreigners. Chinese people are foreigners. So we can see through the characters and the songs and stories, we can see the struggles of Chinese people in Malaysia trying to get an official registration to be an official citizen of Malaysia. And I think that part of history, that part of struggling, I think it still happens somehow in Malaysian society in a way. There is this tense between different race, different ethnicity. And even the films that were played in the theater of this movie, there is a theater, like I said, the theater that burned down. They played 2 movies back to back. One is a patriotic Malaysian film. The other one is Taiwanese film, 复兴的人, from Taiwan, so very Chinese culture, right? I think it's a metaphor for the tensions and complexity of ethnic relations in Malaysia back in the time. However, I would say there is still one downside of this movie. So Jung Ki-an he depends on a lot of explanatory text on screens to tell us what is happening during the May 13 incident. But I think, as a film director, he should have some sort of way to tell us visually through camera movement, like shots. I think that would be even better. So basically, the whole May 13 incident happened in 1969. It's a forbidden history in Malaysia for the government because it somehow, in their opinions, it would destroy the peaceful, the peaceful of the Malaysian society right now. But I think we should definitely discuss it. And for Taiwanese people, we also have authoritarian rules and also this sort of forbidden history in Taiwan, before. So I think still in Midsummer is a great film for us to reflect on ourselves, but also at the same time for people all over the world to know a little bit about the Malaysian history, a history that should not be forgotten. Alright, so that's all for this film, Snow in Midsummer, as the starter of the show today. A little bit depressing, I'm so sorry. But we're gonna have some fun later on, I promise.
Listen! Are you listening? This is the sound of my country. This is the sound of Taiwan.
Taiwan, a small island with a whole world of sounds.
Do you wanna build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door, it's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me why. Do you wanna build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Go away, Anna.
Okay, bye.
Wanna build a snowman or ride our bike around the halls. I think some company's overdue. I've started talking to the pictures on the walls. Hang in there, Joan. It gets a little lonely, all these empty rooms, just watching the hours tick by.
Elsa, please, I know you're in there. People are asking where you've been. They say have courage, and I'm trying to. I'm right out here for you. Just let me in. We only have each other. It's just you and me. What are we gonna do? Do you wanna build a snowman?
Do you want to build a snowman from the film Frozen? I promise we're gonna have some fun, you know. So we just talked about the very depressing snow in Midsummer, the snow. Because you know in Midsummer, usually it doesn't snow, right? So when it snows, there's definitely something happened. That is from a Chinese tradition, a very mythological story. Anyway, so if it snows in Midsummer, there's definitely something bad happening, okay? But now, if it's snowing in the Arendelle Kingdom, then it's definitely something fun happening, right? Alright, so we can talk about this film Frozen, as you may all know. So, Frozen, this is from 2013. 2013. It was way back when I was in elementary school, like 11 years ago. Imagine this. How long can this be? How long? Wow, I can't believe this. So, it's of course produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, and you all know the plot, so I'm not going to tell you about the plot of the Frozen. Please go watch it by yourself. You're gonna get through this, okay? In my opinion, I think basically Frozen, this film is talking about finding identities. You know, Elsa as the queen of this kingdom, she did not know who she was. I mean, she noticed that she has a sort of magic power to use ice and then, you know, coldness to control things. But it makes her differentiate from other people, differentiate from her family. It makes her isolate herself. So she's still finding who she is. And then suddenly, at the end of the film, she finally finds out that she can actually be a good queen, and I think that concept itself is it's a very prevalent theme in many Disney movies. But I think this movie portrays it in a very different way. Why? Because in Frozen, girls do not have to get married. You know, a queen doesn't need a king. Does not necessarily need a king. You know, and we, the princes. We don't necessarily need a prince. I'm not assuming that I'm a princess, okay? I'm just, you know, doing a sort of, you know, how do you call it? I'm acting as like a princess, okay? And I think this idea, this concept of finding the identities even extends to the sequel of Frozen 2. It's still talking about finding identities. So anyway, you know, she went into unknown to find to find identities. Anyway, the way to, you know, control the kingdom and then, you know, to rule the kingdom. It's still there. Basically, the whole Frozen film is talking about finding identities. But I think the business success of this movie also has to be mentioned. There are so many successful characters in this movie, including Olaf, the, you know, 雪宝, the little snowman that walks and talks very, you know, cutely. Oh, I love him so much. And even the songs of the movies are very, very successful. And speaking of songs, I believe that you are definitely going to know this track, and I highly recommend you to sing along to this movie, to this song, which is... Am I actually playing this? Yes, I'm playing you Let It Go by Idina Menzel from the movie Frozen. Anyway, I remember back in the time, back when I was a child, Frozen really touches me. There's a soft spot for Frozen in my heart, and I love singing to this song.
Footprint to be seen, a kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go.
It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. When I rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
You know, when I look back on these two tracks, Do You Want to Build a Snowman and also Let It Go, these are really, really nicely made tracks in musicals. In musicals, we tend to expect that music can help us to solve something, solve a conflict in the plot, or help to push the plot forward. And when you're listening to Do You Want to Build a Snowman, it helps to explain why these, Elsa and her sister, they're in this sort of, relationship that it's a little bit far away from each other, and their desire, the hope they want to meet each other again. And I think that catches the essence of the plot and also help push the plot forward. And when we look at this song, Let It Go, it talks about how Elsa is about to break the barrier and truly to be herself. I mean, these two tracks are really, really nice functionally when we're talking about musicals. So very, very nice tracks. Let It Go and Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Today on Cinematic Motif, we're talking about movies related to snow. Now, I have to admit, the final movie that I'm going to share with you today has nothing to do with snow. But I really, really want to talk about this movie right now. I think the mood feels right, This movie is called Supernova. However, I still find some links, okay? So this film is basically set in the Lake District in the UK. And Lake District, it usually snows in winter. So it makes sense, right? Okay, please, accept my apologies, okay? So this is a 2020 British romantic drama film directed and written by Harry McQueen. And the film stars two very, 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 very prestigious actors, Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci. Now, in Supernova, we have these two characters, Sam and Tusker, a couple of 20 years, embark on a road trip across England, specifically Lake District, and reconnecting with friends and family. But there is an underlying tension because Tusker has been diagnosed with early onset dementia, and he's getting, the situation is getting bad. And Sam, a pianist and composer, prepares for his final concert. Now, later on, Sam discovers that Tusker has planned to take his own life away if the conditions worsen, before the condition worsens. And so they began sort of big discussion. And at the end of the movie, Tusker it ends with Sam playing a beautiful piece on the piano, and that is a track that I'm going to play you later on, so stay tuned for that. Please wait a moment. So what I am so fascinated by this movie is its portrayal of mature gay couple on screen. I think this is a topic that we're not prone to talking about in cinematic world. We are, people love to watch young gay couples having fun at their young age. But what about these elders? What could possibly happen? And this one also touches on a topic that it's so widely in our society. That is dementia. How do we face dementia? I mean, if your significant others, let's not say if it's gay or you're straight, just your significant others or your mom, your family having dementia, it is itself very, very, it's hard, it's struggling both for the patient and also you, family members. So I think this film really, really talks about, it encourages us to still seize the value of our life, because as the title of the film suggests, this film is called Supernova. Supernova is the new stars in the sky, and then it bumps, and then it still burns and burns for others, burns for the universe, and then it's beautiful. It's dying, but it's beautiful. And I think, this idea is sounding more and more like romanticism. But anyway, if this film is really encouraging us to seize the final value of our life, particularly when we look at some quotes from the movie. I love this quote from the movie. Let me read you this. Okay, so this quote goes like this: "You are not supposed to mourn someone while they are still alive." Right? If they are still alive, they should be there. If they're still alive, there are definitely still some value of the life still there. So don't mourn for them yet. Burn bright, like the supernova. So as I said, at the end of the movie, Sam was playing this beautiful piece on piano. It's Salut d'amour by Edward Elgar, a very, very famous British composer. I played his track before on the show, actually. I played the Pomp and Circumstances. So that is all for our show today. 3 films kind of loosely connected through these idea of snow. Hope you enjoyed these. And as always, if you've got any requests or feedback, send your email to wanson@rti.org.tw. You can also follow me on my Instagram and YouTube. My handle is @wansonscfe. This has been Cinematic Motif. Thank you for tuning in. I'm back next week. Bye bye.